Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Serial Gaming here, and today let's talk about another episode of the Seed Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, where we will be covering the newest unit that will be getting their BT+, which is Tidus and Ceodore. So let's start with Tidus first. So Tidus get a little bit rework on his kit, on his already good kit. His skill 1, which is the plus version, now has a 2 single target HP attack and is still a instant free turn skill. His skill 2 plus is a 2 single target HP attack with a 50% splash, and it's a high turn rate skill and apply all his debuff, which is the attack down, speed down, and defense down. He also gets some rework in his LD, which now deals 4 split AoE HP attack and also applies the same debuff that his skill 2 applies, only this time it's frame. So for those who never used Tidus before, as long as his EX buff, which is called Winning Spirit, which can also be obtained in his skill 1, but normally you only use his EX to upkeep that buff. So as long as that buff is active, he always perform a follow-up attack whenever he moves or whenever he takes an action, which is now a 2 single target HP attack. And whenever the follow-up attack is performed, it goes up by 1 stack. At 3rd stack, it will perform Jecht Shot instead, which is a 3 single target HP attack with 80% splash to non-target. It also re-breaks the enemy, so yes, pretty cool shit. And of course, he also gets the Crystal Level 90 upgrade, which now improves his EX to 3 AoE split HP attacks, so you don't click the EX just to upkeep the buff anymore. And his additional ability also have an upgrade. It's now a 4 turn buff, which still have 1 HP attack only and extend his buff by 2 turns. It provides now a 30% self attack up and 30% brave damage cap up. So the best part about Tidus upgrade here is his BT+. For those who never used Tidus before, his BT effect actually allows him to follow up his attack by 2 times, which means that he's not only just following up with more attack, he's also giving him more stacks to access his Jecht Shot attack more often. So his BT effect previously provides a 50% party brave damage up, 20% party brave damage cap up, 20% party HP damage up when breaking or hitting broken enemy, and with his BT plus effect, it now adds another 30% party bravery damage up and 30% party bravery damage cap up. So the best part, like I said, about this BT upgrade is the follow-up attack, since Tidus is actually very reliant on his BT to actually deal a lot of damage. So if you're gonna use him a lot, I would say that his BT and his BT plus makes a very big difference on whether or not you're using him. Going for his BT plus is actually a wise choice considering how good he is right now and how good he is gonna be when the FR Shinyu era started. He's one of the early BT user that get the FR, and he's also one of the better unit that gets a very broken FR later down the line. You can of course pull his BT later, because his FR actually comes along not only with Cam's BT but his own BT as well at 2 separate panels. So you can consider your options to pull his BT there or now here. So Tidus is a very regular powerful turn hogger. You can just pair him up with any turn hogger's best friend like Kain, Cloud of Darkness, Noctis for single target, etc. The problem with Tidus is always the buff maintenance that you want to spam him with. His skill 1 is the free instant turn, along with his LD and additional ability, but his LD and additional ability provides an extension of the buff by 1 turn, since it actually provides by 2 turns, but you're consuming one of them when you perform that skill itself, so basically you're just increasing the duration of the buff by 1 turn. His skill 1 doesn't though, so you might want to be careful not to have the buff fall off, or else you won't be performing your following up attack. So the way to actually use Tidus is to perform his skill 1, his additional ability, and his follow-up attack. Abuse that in the format where his buff won't be falling off, and then only use his his EX when his buff is required to regain that maintenance. Tidus doesn't have a specific rotation. I actually use Tidus a lot during his release of his LD. Since his LD actually provides 2 free skills, I normally use that to abuse his skill 1 or his additional ability, depends on whether or not I want to abuse more attack damage or if I want to abuse more turns. I would say that Tidus is actually the easiest character to play with. His mechanics seem simple, but it's actually quite a tough idea to actually upkeep the maintenance of his EX buff. since you really don't want that to fall off. So in my opinion, Tidus is actually very powerful. He's definitely one of the strongest character that we will be getting in this current era, but he's a little bit boring to use. I have been using Tidus during his release of LD, and I played JP as well, and I used him a lot during his FR release in JP, so I cannot deny that it's kind of boring that I have to use him again. I might still use him, but just not as often as I use him in JP. He's still an instant green for me because of the fact that I have to compensate myself since I actually pity his burst the first time around, so I don't want to waste that. But definitely Tidus is worth the green for most unit. He's actually very powerful, like I said, and the fact that he has both turn hoggings and rebreak in his mechanics means that he can easily manipulate the turn for the enemy to make sure that they don't get any turns with him, just him alone, without any delayers or further unit to assist him in providing that turn manipulation itself. Following up next, we have Ceodore with his rework, his crystal level 90, as well as his new BT. So starting off with his skill 1, he has now a 3 single target HP attack with a 50% splash. I'm only talking about the awakening form since it's logic for you to awaken with Ceodore first to apply his awakening buff before actually using other of his skills to have the stronger version of his skill itself. So his skill 2, which is the awakening skill that I mentioned about to provide him the awakening buff, it now provides a stronger battery to the party and improve his self buff, which now provides more attack and overflow to himself, but nothing too fancy there. It's a free turn skill, so you only use it to maintain his awakening buff. His LD is a 4 split HP attack, and finally, like final fuckingly, he provides Holy Enchant to the entire party when the party has at least 50% max HP. He also provides a very good 30% HP damage up along with this buff. So Ceodore now becomes a party-wide Holy Enchant, joining alongside Eiko, Ash, and of course Paladin Cecil. Not that it's too late on anything, but yes, another new Holy Enchanter unit that we'll be getting. So his EX, which is the EX Plus, which is only available when his HP is higher than 50% and his Awakening buff active. It's now a 5 split AoE HP attack and grants new Bravery and HP attack to himself. His new Bravery attack now performs 2 single target HP attack, whereas his HP attack now performs 2 single target HP attack as well with a 50% splash. His additional ability now extends to 4 turns, which heals the entire party and provides a 10% party overflow up and 10% party brave gain up. Not too fancy there, but yes. His BT, which is his newest kit, now provides the effect that where his awakening buff will not decrease during this BT active, and it provides a 20% overflow up, followed up by a 50% party brave damage up. And when the party is above 50% HP, it provides 50% brave damage up again to that particular unit, 20% overflow up, a 20% HP damage up, and a 20% party bravery damage cap up. With the BT plus effect active, it now provides an additional 10% HP damage up and an additional 30% brave damage cap up. So to summarize, all the buff for his BT is he provides 100% brave damage up, 40% overflow up, 30% HP damage up, and 50% brave damage cap up. So it's good that he has more brave damage in his kit, considering that Ceodore actually performs a lot of bravery in most of his attack, but the fact that he doesn't have any HP damage cap up really doesn't give him too much justice, considering how much bravery damage he has. Means that no matter how much bravery damage, how high the bravery damage goes, he always capped at a certain value. So that part is quite disappointing. He has a very good 30% HP damage up and a 30% HP damage up again in his LD buff. So summarized to 60% HP damage up to the entire party. But like I said, no matter how high your HP damage up can go, it doesn't really matter much, especially when the HP damage cap up is not increased. Regardless though, Ceodore is a very nice additional healer / enchanter unit to have. He's a slightly stronger version of Paladin Cecil right now with this new upgrade. So if you want to consider going for him, just know that he and Paladin Cecil actually has quite similar kit, except his aura is more catered to offensive instead of defensive. So to put it simply, he's an aura bot while providing party enchant and also dealing out quite a good amount of HP dumps and damage. But the best part about Ceodore is actually his animation. Most of his kit has very good animation, including his BT, which he comes along with Kayn. Even when later on he pairs with Tidus with his FR, he also has very decent animation there. So I'll say that that's a huge plus for those who wanted to go for this unit. As for pairing, since Ceodore relies on the HP of the entire party to remain at above 50%, I would say that you can go really good with him with more healers. Nothing wrong with that. Other than that, he's just your regular enchanter where you normally would use him for that itself. So if it's more advantageous to the stage itself, he can actually perform really well with as a supportive aura bot to the DPS of your team. If you want to rely on him as the sole DPS of your party, it's not really that impossible, but it's not really highly recommended either, because his best attack on a regular basis without spamming his LD is his skill 1, which is only 3 HP attack, and his EX is only charging at a normal rate, so particularly around 3, I think 2 or 3 skill 1 would recharge his EX. So in that situation, you can only rely on that 3 HP dumps to perform actual damage. One thing to note though, if you're not bringing Ceodore with any other supportive unit, he doesn't have any brave refund to himself after using his skills, so you might be open to being broken by the enemy. In that situation, you might want to be careful. So maybe you can run him with a tank or with unit like Rosa to provide that brave refund. So I'll be leaving the talk for Cyan in a later video, because for now I'm just going to focus on these 2 BT plus character. As for my plan for these 2 characters, I'll be pulling Tidus in, I'll be greening Tidus in my main account, and I'll be pulling Ceodore in my alternate account. Hopefully he's fun enough for me to actually justify going hard for him there. But judging from what I see from his kit, I think he's at least a little bit more fun to play with compared with Tidus. I might be a little bit harsh on saying how boring Tidus is going to be, especially considering I also will be greening Terra when she comes, and she's also another boring turn hogger. By Terra case is different because she's just waifu over there. But for Tidus, yes, I play him a little bit too much during his era of release in JP and global as well. So I might be over exerted myself in using his kit. Regardless though, I still recommend going for Tidus if you are planning your resources. He's not entirely too OP in this current release, but he's going to be really good during his FR. So if you want to hold off your resources until then, I don't find any issue with that. But like I said, Tidus is definitely a very worthwhile investment to go for right now and for the future. So alright guys, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this content, consider clicking that like button and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.